Hello, everyone. My name is Autumn Hudgens, and we're back with another arts interview. Let's get started. And today I'm speaking with.
I am Gabrielle or Gabby Williams. I am 23 years old from McAlester, Oklahoma, currently residing in Boomer Sooner land, good old Norman, Oklahoma, and I am the current Miss Oklahoma role model through Royal International Miss.
Heck
With all
yeah. I think we're sister queens, which is so thrilling for me. Pumped
I
about it
love
all
it.
the time. Okay.
Literally.
So, as you know, my platform has everything to do with a passion for the arts and everything that the arts can do in others' lives. So, I can't wait to speak to you today about all the different art forms in your life. Go ahead and give me a rundown. What are all the art forms that you participate in?
Oh gosh. Really rolling with the punches with that one. So I got my undergraduate degree. My bachelor's was a triple major for design and production through costumes, lighting, and special effects makeup and artistry. I've been a performer my entire life, mainly in dance, with my biggest emphasis being musical theater, jazz, and hip hop. And then in Palm, I was a little Palm coach. And then literally and then as well as currently getting my master's in arts management, learning the business side of things, how um everything needs to be ran so everything is smooth. Little do we know it is not smooth, as I'm sure you understand quite well. How we can make it smoother, how we can benefit more artists in the world, financially, all of that good stuff. So pretty well-rounded. I like to know all of it. I do artistic photography as a hobby. I like creating, taking my pop culture elements and turning it into a reality and giving people that are not necessarily in the art field a chance to be an artist for the day. And mainly women. I love to see how beautiful women work and produce the artwork that they are in themselves and yeah.
That's so amazing. And it's so mind-boggling for me to hear you being involved in so many different art forms at once, really. Granted, I say that knowing very much as a busy person, we like to stay busy.
Yes, I was about to say you as well.
Touche. But with that being said, I'm curious, how did you land where you landed? How did you land doing the triple major? And what really inspired you to continue your creative work and even expand it as you have?
So everything I would say attests back to a junior and senior year. So short version, junior and senior year of high school at my dance studio. My dance director is Broadway raised, loves a theatrical production. That's like her favorite class. And my junior year, she was like, "Would you like to step up and be my sort of a studio assistant director, take on the most classes, take on the biggest roles and like really help me management wise, and production wise?" And I was like, absolutely, count me in, coach. Learned I absolutely loved it. My senior year of high school was just the biggest production I could have ever dreamed of at the age of 17 and 18. And I learned that when I came to OU, I wanted to go into behind the scenes. So I decided, instead of continuing performance per se academically, still did U Sing, University Sing, Scandals, Homecoming, all that stuff to keep myself, limber, if you will.
Of course, of course.
While I'm young. Um, did that as well, but decided to start with costumes. I always dreamt of fashion design at a young age, and I love anything fun and whimsical. And I was like, let's just see where this will lead me. And then I was told that I had to take other majors emphasis for an introductory level class. And I was like, oh Lord, they're trusting me with industrial sized saws.
Hmm.
Good. And Lord, it was a thought for sure. Ended up getting put on paint every day in scenic.
Solid.
Learned that that was not for me. And then I was told that I had to take lighting and that I would absolutely hate it. It's so much labor and it's all this and that and it's all this wiring. And I was like, oh gosh, not going to look forward to it. Day one, I was just locked in. I was like, you mean I get to play with the rainbow every day? Like, this is great. Um, and that was the year that design and production got our first female faculty member was when I had to take that class. It is Renee Brode, and she's the head of the lighting department. So I was like, oh, and I get to be with a mom. Even
Perfect.
better. So I decided to add lighting, and she talked to me, and we just added that up in there. And then junior year, School of Drama decided to take on quite a few special effects plays with no special effects students. And knowing that I had been self-taught, the head of my costume department, Lloyd, he was like, hey, what if we just added a third? You're already at two. We'll get rid of some other credits. I was like, you know what? Sure, sign me up. So we took one-on-one classes and that added my third. So nothing was ever planned. It was truly just literally rolling with the punches. And then my senior year, we since COVID, it was the first time they got Art Walk back, and they were like, "Do you want to make it something for Art Walk?" And I was like, "Oh, I've always wanted to do photography." And so I literally just picked up my old yearbook camera from back in the day that I still owned, and I just started shooting pictures, and I was just texting people, and I was like, "Hey, can I cover you in glitter and fake blood?" And they were like, "Yeah, sign me up." So I just got to taking pictures, and I was like, I really like this whole directing and management bit. And then we keep fast forwarding, and I was graduated, and our dean, good old I call her Mother Mary. She's amazing, amazing woman. She, Dean of Fine Arts, emails me and is like, hey, would love to have a meeting with you if you're still around this summer. Said, yeah. So I went to the meeting, and then lo and behold, she was like, I'd love to offer you our first graduate assistantship to be my assistant. You'd be the graduate assistant of all 5 colleges. You'd help a lot with university theater. And we will help, if you wanted to continue academically. And I was like, sure. So now I'm in the first ever graduate assistant and the first ever graduating class for our arts management program for a master's. So I just a guinea pig for the last 6 years, and I'll take it.
That's so,
That was so long-winded. I apologize.
no. That's so spectacular. And there's so many like pieces to your journey, which I find so fascinating. I think it's so, I don't know, all of it just kind of boggles my mind because I look at you as such a beautiful, bright human being. And then you list off all of the things that you like have your hands in creatively. And the fact that most of it just kind of like came to you, I think is really, really beautiful. Really beautiful.
It's
And
kind of like a Mario Kart racetrack, kind of like Rainbow Road, where everything's happy in a world of color, and then it's like, oh, there's the thing that's gonna squash me, and you have to.
and then you run into boxes and you're like, I could or I couldn't use this part, but I have it.
Exactly.
I think that's so
Exactly.
amazing. And the fact that you have the capacity to have welcomed it. That's really special, and not a lot of people have that. So kudos
Thank
to you in
you.
that. You're
Thank you.
welcome.
You as well.
Thanks. Thanks. So with that further being said, I'm going to take it a little further. How has your involvement in all of these different pockets grown you as a person? Where have you seen the most benefit? What has it brought to your life? You get the picture.
Oh gosh, so many things, to be so honest. I think, yeah, really so many things. I'm trying to come up with a short answer to this. I would say the a top attribute is probably the understanding of how this world works. Coming from, oh, there's my puppy. Coming from one sense of it and only knowing performance my entire life, I didn't know how anything happened at the dance studio. And then given that opportunity, I was like, oh my goodness, my patience is so much better. I have so much, it's not that I disrespected anyone, but the amount of respect I already had just, transpired into so much more, and understanding what all you have to do and the hours and the time and the thought process and the it's just crazy being in meetings this year, and they started meetings for 2025 in the fall semester. So it was fall of 2023, and they already had to make determining choices, lock it in Family Feud style for 2025. And I was like, we have time. And they were like, no, this is how this side works. And so truly just the timing and the patience and the, instead of getting frustrated so easily at something, how we all know it's just so easy to want to scream it out. I have learned how to take a step back and pocket my emotions from my work and truly be thoughtful in the process of what I'm doing and take everyone into consideration, but at the same time know that business is business, and we all signed up to be here, and how we can do that thoughtfully, with everyone in mind, but still get down to brass tacks, because as you know, a time frame is a time frame and you don't get an extra hour.
Even though I wish it were different.
Even though I pay good money.
I pay good money for that extra hour. No, that's really special and really helpful that you were able to learn those skills at such a young age. I'm still learning. Granted, I'm younger than you are. But regardless, I know there are a lot of like real adults, if you'll forgive my
No,
my
yep.
term.
I consider myself 23 teenage. What do the kids say?
Sure.
23 age.
A 20 something.
Mhm.
Just some kind of 20. I don't know.
I don't,
Just kind
whatever
of
you
land.
take me as.
I feel 12, so I don't
Literally.
yeah. But no, I think that's really, really amazing that the arts were able, in so many different pockets, to teach you such a thoughtful professionalism and, dare I say, work-life balance
Yeah.
and patience. Incredibly important skills.
Mhm.
Along that same line,
Mhm.
which direction do I want to go with this? Because I have two. Which, out of all of the art forms that you participate in, is
Mhm.
there an art form that speaks more to your heart than another?
I would definitely, they each speak in their own language, truly. But when it comes together, the funniest way and the easiest way I can put this is it's kind of like the Minions language. How it's made up, if you know Despicable Me and you know the Minions, it is, I think it's 5 different languages that they have conformed into one just comedic,
Oh, perfect.
amazing, language. It's like Spanish, it's French, it's Italian, it's English, it's and something else, Turkish or something like that, something very like out of left field. And it is all these things come together, but yet the whole world knows it and the whole world loves it. And I feel like they all come together in such a beautiful way. And that's really why I started doing, if I have to pick one, I would probably say physically and emotionally for myself, it'd be dance. I always feel at home when I'm doing that. But the most fulfilling, heart-wise, I would say is my artistic photography, because of how they all come together so beautifully. That's why I started doing that. I was in full control of, the lights, the costumes, the makeup, the hair, all of it, and being able to work with people who don't get that opportunity, that we sometimes take for granted. There were so many times where I would just, I don't want to go to class. And then there's other people who, they would give anything to be in that class that I was in. And so it was truly having to kind of take a step back and see really where I was with a new set of glasses. And I decided that I wanted to give those people that opportunity. And so I'd work with them and what are you comfortable with? What's your favorite color? And so seeing that come to life, and when I'd give them their pictures or they'd come to art walk and they'd shed tears or they would, just hug me so tight, and I've never seen myself like this before. I was just like, I love seeing the light in people, and I don't know, it's like Christmas lights when they all just twinkle up.
Huh. It's like a paycheck of the heart. Just
Yes.
kind of like cater to others and hand them your vision, if you will.
Yes. And it
That's
doesn't, my biggest fear is making someone feel like um a charity project or something. I never want anyone to feel that I see them as less than. And so I try to work really hard, and I'll usually post on social media and be like, who's interested in this? And I want them to be able to say like, oh, I want to do this. Or I've had people say, I want to break out of my comfort zone. And I've actually made a beautiful friendship with Carly Fort, if you know who that is.
not currently, but I hope to.
Wonderful, wonderful girl. CAC College Bowl chair this coming year.
Sure.
She's such a wonderful human, and I met her through through doing that. This girl I'd never met in my life was like, I've followed you for a year now, and I'd love to meet you and do this. And I was like, wow, not even gonna ask me to lunch first. We're just gonna dive right in, and I'm gonna cover you in glitter. Sounds good. But just truly those connections and all of that. But yeah.
That's so magical. And I'm gonna look out for the next time you do that because I'm super interested. But that's a conversation for another day.
But we'll talk.
Oh, we'll talk. And maybe I want to ask you to be on a film set at some point fairly soon.
Yes.
Um, Fairly soon in the film business, meaning within the next year or two.
Mhm.
But regardless, plans, plans. Now, I have one last question for you. With
Okay.
all of this beautiful information about your journey and all of the art forms that you take heart in and all of the art forms that you serve with, truly, why do you believe the arts are important to the world?
Oh gosh. We talk about this in every class that I'm in, and it's so amazing hearing everyone's answers. The educational aspect, the the personality aspect of everyone being so afraid, when you're born, you are taught to be just like rent free everywhere. And then you learn that you have payments everywhere you go, and learning that this is a place that literally you can do anything, you can be anything. I like to joke and say I got a degree in literally like make believe, or I'm like I got a degree in playing pretend. Because it's so funny, but at the end of the day, if no one understands what design and production is, or they're like acting so Broadway, and it's like, no, you can take this and you can truly go anywhere with it. um Learning how to learn your emotions and learn not just yourself but the emotions of others, the history of it. Oh my gosh, I mean, you just got back from study abroad. I mean, being able to be with Dr. Pender and Lloyd, and go to the classroom and read about Shakespeare and Romeo and Juliet, and then literally walk outside and go straight to where he wrote it. And you're just in tears. You're like, wow, like my life, I'm where I'm at today because of this person. And um, being in arts management, hearing the stories of people from all over the United States that are taking the same program I am. The other day, a fellow classmate who's a choir teacher, they tried to cancel her choir program purely because they said it was not as important as the high school football team. It's not going to bring in as much money. And so she fought and fought and fought for them to not cancel it for that year. And the choir recital, singular night, got in more money than the entire football season because of her story. And she was like, you don't understand what this does for these kids and their parents, you know. If they don't go to football, they go to choir. And if they don't have choir, then they're sad, and then their guardians are sad, and their siblings are sad. And, you know, it's just truly so life-changing from head to toe. And once again, that was so long-winded. I apologize. But I mean, there's just truly not, there's never a wrong answer as to why it's important, because it's so important in so many ways.
Mhm.
I think my biggest question I ask people when they ask me why I think it's important, and I'll end it with this, is I say, do you listen to music? Well, yeah. Do you like movies? Yeah, I go to the movies. Do you like concerts? Yeah. Okay. So just because you don't go to a Renaissance fair or theater or a musical on Broadway or off Broadway, or just because it's not a play or a musical, does not mean you're not viewing art. Do you like the graffiti on the wall outside? Just because it's not in an art museum does not mean that you're not feeling something. And I just think that that's so crazy. Highly recommend, oh, the poster's over there. Highly recommend a show called Art. My roommate was recently in it. It got put on by School of Drama, directed by Logan Collins. And when I tell you I shed tears, it was literally, the short synopsis was, this one room, or one, there's three friends. One of them spent like $100,000 on a solid white canvas, but it was like off-white, and there was texture, and they were just arguing about it, and this argument of why you spent so much money on something so meaningless turned into their true emotions. And the whole point was how a blank canvas, quote unquote, can open things. And what I took from that was, my roommate's character said, if you are who you are because I am who I am, then you're not who you are because of who I am. And I was like, oh my gosh.
That sounds incredibly intriguing and incredibly insightful. I'll be doing a Google search after this.
Yes, so good. And he really did it great, because it's supposed to be three men and he did it with three women.
Oh, Slay.
So it was like, oh, so good.
Ah,
But I'm sorry, I yap.
professional yapper here. We're here.
Exactly.
I think all of that's so beautiful. And on the note of like the question that you ask people, do you drink anything out of a cup? Do you live in a house? Do you drive a car? Do you know people who drive cars? Do you watch the news? All of these things and more. Do you wear clothes?
You get your nails done?
Do you get your nails done is also a great one. Do you wear jewelry of any kind? Do you put on chapstick? Creative minds. Creative
Mhm.
minds is what it takes to think of
I'd be
these things.
nowhere without lip smackers. Let me tell you.
Wouldn't we all be lost without lip smackers? I'm a Burt's Bees gal, but you know,
Ooh,
mm.
yes.
You
Love it.
just
I
never
like the
know.
mint one.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely solid. I get the vitamin E.
Yes, yes, that's what it's called. Peppermint. Yes.
Oh, per. We're on the same page.
Very good.
I think that's so lovely. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me today. I
Of
am so
course.
appreciative of your time and your energy and all of the beautiful things that you do for the arts and for others through the arts. Thank you so much,
Thank
Gabby.
you. I'm so glad you asked me. These were good questions. You got me thinking and yapping.
They wouldn't be as good questions if you didn't answer so well.
Ah, well, thank you. You're wonderful.